that we are never going to be a civilized people or never be a successful world until we're right. At the moment that we do it right, then we are part of something that is almost always right as far as we can tell. So we can lay the foundations and make a little improvement. And the various mystical movements that are coming into vogue at the present time are all moving along in that direction. But up to the present time, a good many of them are more or less delayed by the fact they're trying to accomplish it all within the area of the physical. They're going to try to change the rules of government. They're going to try to do this. They're going to try to do that. But very few actually are going to try to correct their own faults. They're going to hope that by passing a legislation or by becoming sufficiently numerous, they can correct the mistakes. They can't correct mistakes by no number alone. If the basic rule is wrong, if they have not conquered the difficulty itself, the very revolution to correct the condition will set up a new problem. In other words, if the individual tries to use the old worn-out ways of correcting problems without correcting self, he'll soon have another problem. He will find that he will be exploited by the very groups that he has hoped will help him. Sincerity is absolutely indispensable. The moment the individual's egotism steps in, or avarice comes along, or everything is put on a business basis, something is going to go wrong again. The victory of the soul over the body has to be accomplished. And that victory is actually the victory of peace over war. It is the victory of the soul over intellect. And it is the victory of all of that which is internal and eternal over that which is external and temporal. All these things are part of what we learn from the study of magnetism. That everything that is happening is under an inevitable control. That 2 and 2 will always make 4. And 2 fighting will always be 2 fighting. And maybe the 2 fighting will create 1 fight. But if enough do it, that 1 fight will become a ruinous world experience. So we have to will with as best we can with these matters. But instead of thinking and trying to wonder how it is all worked out in nature, let's realize that nature is a source of life. Life is a moral thing. Life is not just a water springing out of the ground. Water is not just dew coming down from heaven. Life is a living organism with rules of its own. To live, we must keep the rules. To grow, we must keep the rules. To have happy and fortunate achievements in all fields of art, music, industry, commerce, everything, the rules must be kept. And the rules are inevitable, irrevocable honesty. The thing must be done the way it was intended to be done. In other words, as one man said, we must do it the way we say we're going to do it. But we must do it, not just say we're going to do it. All these things help us to see that we live in something that we can't escape from, that there's no use of our trying to run away from it. The only thing we can do that's going to help the problem along is to bring harmony into the vibratory fields of nature. We have to find harmony instead of war. We have to find countries arbitrating instead of negotiating for profit. And we have to take the supreme importance of money out of our lives. Money can't get any further than this world. The richest man in the world was never able to take any of it with him. But he can take with him continuously the demand to get it. And the next time he comes around, he'll try again. He's got to cure it in himself as a passion for accumulation to take the place of integrity as a means of establishing a permanent culture. It can't be done that way. It has to be right. And that which is right will win. And it can win against all the mistakes that man ever has made or ever will make. There's no way of escaping the inevitability of right. And all that right is in terms of vibration. The same type of vibration that gives us electricity. the same vibration that comes through the air to us from hundreds of channels that are perfectly distinguished, and we can see the pictures everywhere we go. These vibrations, this great field of vibratory energy, is the most important thing in the world, for it is the custodian of every value that we know. And the most important part of it is that we can corrupt its uses, but we can never corrupt its principles. And in that time, every abuse of energy will be punished by a failure of some type, in which will not accomplish what was hoped. Energy must be used correctly, or it will turn upon an abuser and do unpleasant things to him. Everything has to be right. Every food has to be right. Every religion has to be right. Every science has to be right, or else it will continue to perpetuate the ills that we know. And that most of all, to be right, it must be honest. Honesty is probably the most obvious and tangible rate of vibration that we know that will bring together divided parts and unite them. But altogether, the vibration is a tremendous sea of life, ruled by something that is eternal. And if we tune it in correctly, it can give us everything that we need for life. If we abuse it and misuse it, it can bring us the sorrows and pains that seem to be descending on us at the present time. So the thing to do is to use it the best we know and try to know a little better every day how to use it. Thank you.